All right, guys. Here we go. Playoff update, guys. NBA. Did you guys just watch it? This show is live. So we did just watch the complete dismantling of the Brooklyn Nets versus versus the Toronto Raptors, my favorite team ever in life. Ever in life. I'm like 95% that we're gonna win a championship again this year. Kyle Lowry going down did put a little kink in the armor as far as my confidence, but I'm sure that with the looks like it's gonna be about a week's rest. I'm sure whatever ankle injury he's gonna have will hopefully lessen enough for him to play. At least come off the bench. I mean, I'll take Lowry coming off the bench against Boston. I don't care as long as he gets to play. Um, we watched the 76ers drown. Drown. I don't know what they're going to do. Yes, mans are out there. I don't know what we're going to do. If I was a 76ers GM, what do I do with this mess? They're garbage. They're absolute garbage. Sorry, guys. Joel Embiid, you trusted the process? No, no. Lost it. Lost it. I don't know what you're going to do. I can't believe that Tobias Harris gets paid so much. Fire the GM. Get rid of the process. Get rid of Tobias Harris. I don't know who's going to take Tobias Harris's contract. I have no idea who's going to take it. Just as Cyrus says, fire everybody. Tobias lives matter. It's true. But that guy's contract is ridiculous. I don't know Horford. I don't know what you're gonna do with these contracts. I don't know who's gonna take on these 5 contracts. Toronto just beat up the Nets, and I don't feel as bad for the Nets as I do for the fans of Philly. And to be honest with you, in my heart of hearts, I shouldn't even say this online or live. I usually hate everything from Philly, except the Eagles. Sometimes I give the Eagles a bye. I'm not really a Phillies fan. I never really liked the 76ers. I didn't even like Charles Barkley when he played for the 76ers. But I feel bad for you guys. You guys are almost Nick territory, and that's. I'm almost enjoying it. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm almost enjoying it. It's almost fun watching you guys fail at this. I mean, it's still Philly. I still like things from Philly. Like, to be honest with you, I went to Philly before, and I loved it there. But damned if I didn't like what we did to you guys in baseball all those years ago. But man, I don't know what you're gonna do with those contracts. Toronto, on the other hand, shot about their bench. Their bench just scored 100 points in Game 4 of the sweep. They just scored 100 points off the bench. I didn't even stop to look for a number of how many threes they shot today. But I'm sure I'll be getting a McDonald's fries tomorrow. I'm positive I'm getting McDonald's fries. These guys tried to make us get 2 McDonald's fries. If you don't know the McDonald's fries you're talking about, then you're not from Toronto, or you're not from the GTA or Ontario. But we appreciate your support. Same way. The Knicks are still the worst. The Knicks, I'm going to laugh about that for a little bit. Remind me, 22 for 45 from 3. That's wild. That's wild. Everybody took turns bombing on the Nets. If I was Kevin Durant, I'd be so pissed to just sit there and watch these guys beat up my team again. But I bet you he wasn't going to come back on the court and try to play. Bet you he did that before and it didn't work. 22 of 47 from 3-point range. Oh, man. Oh, we'll get back to that in a second. I'm acting like we don't have other stuff to talk about. Um, Luka Doncic, ill, ill. Um, the Clippers lost today. Holy. Luka Doncic down by one. Step back three in Paul George's left eye. No, wait. It was his right eye. In his right eye again. I don't know. I mean, Paul George is better than me. I'll tell you that. He's a better ball player than me. But man, if that don't shake your confidence being in all these pictures of you just being, your arms just being too short to block. Luka Doncic. They won. Boston, as I said, Boston beat up the 76ers. Nobody cares. What is surprising, I thought was going to be a competitive contest, ended up looking like it's not going to be. Game 4 is coming soon. The Heat are absolutely beating up the Indiana Pacers. I don't know how I didn't see this coming. I still don't really understand how they're getting beat up like this. It's crazy. Crazy. Damn. I don't even know. Anything else in the East getting wrapped up? Am I forgetting any team? Oh, and the Bucks. I don't know what's happening. Bucks, honestly. Yeah, Sabonis is gone. I don't know how I didn't even realize that Sabonis was gone. I would have called that a sweep from a long time. I think it's going to be the Bucks versus the Heat. I'm assuming it's going to be the Bucks versus the Heat. We'll talk about that next week for sure. We'll probably have to all link up for something. I can't believe Sabonis has been out and I didn't even realize. I realized today actually, and I don't know. I don't know, Jimmy's nice, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to lead the team past the Bucks. I think the Bucks might have to beat them up this week or next week. We're definitely gonna talk about that next week. As far as Toronto versus Boston, that's gonna be probably something that we're gonna talk about next week. I'm assuming that they should have a game by next week, hopefully. Jimmy Butler, you know what? We're gonna have to talk about that. You know what the funny thing is? The funny thing is, yo, Cyrus, you might have to call in today. I stuttered just now when I said that the Bucks were going against the Heat, and I know that Jimmy Butler should not be able to beat the Bucks. But what if he does? If he does, he can't be overrated if he does it. But I just don't see it happening. It's almost like he's almost in a position like Damian Lillard, except Jimmy Butler doesn't always have the numbers to support what Damian Lillard already is. Like, we know he's nice, but we know that Damian Lillard is nice as well. But Jimmy Butler, I don't know. They both need to prove it. Yo, you might have to call and talk about that. The Heat. The Heat are good. The Heat are good. I don't know if Giannis is gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be able. I don't know. That's gonna. You know what? Yo, we're gonna call in a couple minutes. You know what? We're gonna call in right now. Call in. We're gonna have a caller, guys. We are going to have a caller in right now. Cyrus is called into the show, folks. Cyrus.
Good evening.
Cyrus, one of my rivals in basketball, and also FIFA.
Guy, I'm in a great mood right now.
Are you? Were you loving the Raptors?
What? They slapped. Yo. I sat here laughing at Tyrone the whole time.
Oh, you got to watch it with Tyrone? Yo.
No,
Okay.
he ran away.
Oh my
He's doing
gosh.
something else.
Yo, because he's a hard Knicks fan.
He's a closet Nets fan. When they're successful, he comes out.
Oh.
When they're losing, I haven't heard anything from him this season. Period.
Yo, the slapping that they got today was just beyond. Like it was beyond discipline. It was beyond discipline. It was a Durant. Are you watching? Are you watching Durant? Have nightmares.
I was watching. It was so bad that I was watching the game. I was mad that we were just down. That we're only up 25 and not 30, not 40. So when it got to like 19, I was like, "Yo, this is ridiculous." I was getting mad that we're only up 19. That's how bad the game was.
Yo,
I wanted them blown out to like by 50.
Yo, when Terrence Davis hit the 3 at the buzzer, I was like, "Oh my God, these guys are really trying to kill these guys' lives."
You know what Mans are saying? Mans are saying that Jack Vaughn should have got Coach of the Year over Nick Nurse. I was like, excuse me?
That's what they said?
Yeah, man. American. You know how it goes.
Oh my goodness. That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's so disrespectful.
I think Jack Vaughn and Billy Donovan should have been considered for Coach of the Year over Nick Nurse.
Yo, we won a championship, and we improved our team by losing the superstar of probably the biggest superstar we're gonna get for a while. That's not homegrown for sure.
You know what the best thing Masai did? Was not pull the trigger on the PG deal.
Yeah.
Remember when we wanted PG to come here and we sent Siakam?
Yeah.
Paul George is garbage.
Yo, I was gonna ask you, what would you do? This is one of the questions. I want people. Yo, I'm surprised more people aren't inside the chat room. You guys get in the chat room. So I know you guys are all up in the WhatsApp, and I appreciate that. But get inside the chat room so I can see you guys and see what's going on. But yo, what would you do right now if you're Paul George and you're in another game winner picture? What would you say? What would you do when you came out the bubble? I'd feel like an episode of Big Brother. Like everyone's just gonna laugh at me as soon as I come out.
Just live my life because he gets unlimited amount of blinds.
You know what?
Paul George in the playoffs is not nearly as good as he is in the regular season, and just keeps getting blinds. And I don't understand why.
Yo,
he's been living off that Indiana Pacers matchup with LeBron. He's been living off that for a long time. He hasn't done anything else since.
Yo, listen. If I was Kawhi, I'd be looking at him sideways. That's for sure. Because he said,
of course.
He said he wanted to play with him so bad. And then you get there, and I'm like, and this is what you're doing to me?
Like, all bias out the door. Paul George on paper is a phenomenal player. When the lights shine the brightest, he is garbage.
Garbage.
I don't even know what he's doing out there.
Yo, the guy got Dame Lillard again, and then they just renamed it to Luka. Same step back tree in his eye. Like, I don't know how this guy's not have a cataract.
I think Reggie Jackson was the one defending him on the 3, but Luka got him on to go to overtime in the first place, I think.
Yeah.
No. Paul George. I seen Paul George today just stand at the hoop and put his arms up. So you just put your hands up so you don't get a foul.
Yeah. And
Luka's Euro stepping around this guy. Like, what are you doing?
Yo, but Luka Euro stepped over everybody today. He was on fire today. Like, this guy was in on almost all. It felt like all their points. Like every point that this Mavericks volleyball team scored was off of Luka. How's the whole team 7 foot? Like, I don't understand this.
So Claw is the one that told me about Luka before he even came to the NBA.
Yeah.
He said to me, we're watching highlights. He goes, yo, if this guy comes to the NBA, he's going to kill it. And then when he got drafted and then Atlanta chose Trey Young, or the hell his name is, over this guy, he's like, yo, this guy's going to be an MVP. Ryan said that before he played his first game. And so said, so done.
Yo, he is on some next space stuff. Because the way this guy is looking at the game is just ridiculous. Now, granted, he has like 3 or 4 7-footers around him to bail him out of anything that he does wrong, for the most part.
So here's another question I have for you.
Yeah.
What do you think Porzingis is overrated?
You know what? I don't think he's overrated only because when I see this guy wet, he's wet. And he's unguardable at 7'3" shooting threes. It's so unguardable to me. Like I see somebody like you see like someone like Bol. Have you seen the Bol highlights?
Yeah.
Where he's just lanky and playing point guard, looking like a. Oh, chimpanzee said, "Bon that unicorn is overrated." Period. Listen to me.
You're quite right.
You think so too?
Yeah, he's just not reliable when it's needed. Like,
Are you talking about health wise? Or are you talking about like actually when he's on the court?
I think combination of both.
I think the on court product is pretty good. But you're right. If I had him on the fantasy league, I wouldn't want him on my fantasy league team.
No, I don't.
But I think the product is good though. But what, that does make him overrated though. That does make him overrated. Yeah, I guess you're right. You know what? He might be overrated. I think you're right about that.
If your nickname's the unicorn, how are you not playing?
How are you not playing? Like, how are you not magically winning anything?
I never heard of an injured unicorn.
Right? Like, not even a broken horn or nothing. Not even a broken horn. So, question. If you're Kevin Durant, are you vexed that Toronto just smashed up on a second team that you're sitting on?
In all seriousness, nah. If you think about it, like, well, yeah, because you're on a team that got smacked like that, but they'll be better next year. I don't know how they're gonna operate though, because Kyrie's one selfish fuck.
I
don't know.
That I keep trying to picture it. What type of team they would have to build to get Kyrie and like to just relegate Durant to a shooter. But I think honestly, that's probably the best thing that could happen for the first year while he's getting his health back. Is to just be a shooter for a year. And I think he's just gonna be a shooter for a year.
They have a lot of shooters on their team. So like, who's gonna go? Like Dinwiddie, you have Dinwiddie, and I'll keep LeVert for sure. But man, I don't know. I want to see how it works out on paper for the Nets. Well, I don't really care because the Raptors are gonna beat them anyway. But
yeah, Raptors are gonna smash them up. Same way.
But it's gonna be wild. What if KD doesn't come back as KD? What if he's just like a step slower or just lost it a bit?
It can get bad, Like it could be Peja Stojakovic bad.
Oh, that's bad.
Like it could be
really bad.
Like listen, I love KD and I hope he comes back and he's like 100% or as close to 100% as possible.
I'll leave it this one. There's two bad games I've ever watched for Raptors. I discussed it at watching the 81 by Kobe because the way it happened, and I remember going to see a Raptor game when we played Golden State. Golden State was coming off a back-to-back, and they rinsed us from the beginning. I think they went on like a 25-3 run to start the game, and it never got any better.
Yeah.
And I sat there through 4 quarters because I'm not leaving ACC, and watched them rinse us. I remember Iguodala was turning to the crowd and doing the 3-point machine gun thing to the crowd. Draymond was dancing, going back up the court. Like it was bad.
That's so slack.
It was bad.
That's so slack. Yo, we're gonna end the basketball segment with that. I didn't even get to talk about Messiah's press release. I'm probably gonna put that. We're probably gonna talk about that in a bit. Yo, thank you for calling as usual. You're always free to call back whenever. We're back for part 2 of the Higher Movement Showcase Coach WONDERGEDDON podcast. We're going to talk about Major League Baseball for a while. Major League Baseball is what looks like is in full swing. Yes, there are coronavirus catches, but they've been relatively done pretty good as far as taking care of their COVID situations. They've shut down games every once in a while. they've really gotten themselves pretty organized in catching these coronavirus outbreaks within their community. That being said, shortened Major League Baseball means shortened fantasy league baseball, which means you're gonna have to make some drops you don't like, some pickups that you might have to take, um, and you're probably wondering why your wins aren't what they should be. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of help, as usual, as I do from time to time. I'm gonna give you guys 3 people that you should consider picking up if they're out there on your fantasy league. I had a There's a rumor that I was gonna get a phone call at some point. We'll see if at some point we could get Ryan in on a call. In the meantime, I'm gonna discuss 3 different players you should consider picking up if they are available in your fantasy baseball league. First person from the New York Mets, Dominic Smith. He's a left fielder slash first baseman. 70% rostered. I think he's been picked up by about 30% in the last couple weeks. He's an extra base hit machine. For some reason, he has about 15 extra base hits and counting. Cleanup hitter with the Mets. Pick him up if you have the chance, for sure. Can't go wrong with that. Second guy is Jesse Winker. Jesse Winker from the Cincinnati Reds. He's batting third on the Cincinnati Reds, who has a pretty good offense. He's 62% rostered, and he's also full outfield eligible. So if he's out there and you need somebody who is going to keep contact on the ball, he's been hitting, I think, 500 for the last couple weeks, something crazy like that. Full outfield eligible, which means you could slide him in there anywhere if you're using him as a backup or as your main guy. You can fit him anywhere and get some other players around him. Third person is Tommy La Stella. Tommy La Stella plays for the Angels. 32% owned in the league. He's first, second, and third base eligible, and he's batting in front of Mike Trout, guys. If he gets on base, Mike Trout, obviously world-class baseball player, is going to get him around. All right, that is Major League Baseball. I'm gonna do a quick rant while I can. Actually, no. What I'm gonna say is this first. I have to confess to everyone that watched this week and last week. I believe it was last week's episode when I said that I would not. No, it was It was 2 weeks ago. I claimed that I wouldn't put a Blue Jay on my team this season. I did in fact lie. I grabbed Randall Grichuk this week, who helped me win against somebody who I think we're going to speak to in the next couple seconds. I think what it came down to is I tried to do the quality over quantity this week for my pitching, and it backfired, and that's why I was scared up until today about whether
you're a true gentleman. Let me tell you, you are a true gentleman for starting your pitchers today.
Yeah, I had to know. I had to know if my team was going
I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you did that. And you were a true gentleman. Yeah. I lost by, dude, check on my ERA. I lost by .004, I think.
Yo, I kicked myself at least 3 or 4 times after I saw the game
so
start.
Good for you, man.
I was like,
you didn't have to do that.
Because remember, I even told you, I was like, no, I have to see what this looks like. And I was like, I have to start him. I don't want to go out like that. Because I had to see what it looked like. I'm telling you, man, I think I might win it. I think I might got it this season. I might have it.
I look good. Okay, so who you want to talk about? You got good outfielders, keepers?
No, my outfielder, keeper. No, I don't want to talk about that. That's crazy. I lost Tommy Pham, guys. That's why I had to pick up Dominic Smith.
COVID or is injured?
No, he got injured. He broke his hand or something like that. That's why I had to pick up a couple outfielders. But Jesse Winker was out there, and honestly, he's batting third for the Reds. And I
Third,
don't.
third, and he's batting 960.
Yeah, he's bad. Like this guy's average is stupid. I don't think he had a hit today, and this is the first time I've seen him without a hit in about a week. And
Yeah, tons of injuries though across the league.
yeah, a lot of people are just like, I don't know. I picked up Dominic Smith from the Mets too. He for some reason he hits doubles. He's
Is that
batting
an
cleanup.
infielder?
He's a first baseman / left fielder. So
Oh,
I had
nice.
him out in my outfield this week.
The slug position.
Right?
Here, stand here, or you stand here.
Right? Just get there. Just throw the ball in and don't hurt yourself. We need
Any
your bat.
any advice on stolen bases?
Well, I'll be honest with you. If you're looking for stolen bases,
We're just speed in general. Looking for doubles, triples.
last week, a couple weeks ago, I told everyone earlier that I said I wasn't going to pick up a Blue Jay this season, and I picked up Randall Grechik. He's not much of a base stealer. What's his face is from Miami, Jonathan Villar. If you have him, I mean he's about 95% picked up.
No, switch it up. I mean, stolen bases is such a crapshoot. It's almost like a stat we punt, but when you're losing 4-1, 3-1, 5-1,
The thing is too with stolen bases is that the good stolen base guys are already they're not the specialists. Like
yeah.
there's
So
nobody
basically, you're
out
looking
there
for
that I would
somebody.
even like
Go ahead.
to be honest with you, there's nobody out there that I would suggest for stolen bases. Like none of the guys I see out here are really worth the downside of their game.
Or anybody that has a half decent batting average.
Yeah, like if you have a batting average, don't punt
Get
it
on
for
base,
don't punt
half
it for
good
stolen
percentage.
bases.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't have like the Merrifields and the Tommy Pham before I lost him for the season, or like a Jonathan Villar, I mean it's hard to get them stolen bases. I'll be honest with you. You kind of have to get those in the draft. I don't even know how to find them. Like the
I mean,
guys
to
that are
me,
out
it's a
there,
punting category.
Absolutely,
To me, I don't even look at it. But like,
yeah.
I remember one year I had Billy Hamilton. He had
Like
ridiculous
60
amount of
stolen bases and
a
a 207 average.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
nuts. It's nuts. But listen, thanks for calling, bro. MBL, we're gonna end it at that. I'm gonna go to a commercial. We're gonna get back in a few minutes, and then we're gonna talk NFL for the last part of the show. We're back, guys. Third leg of the race. We are gonna talk about NFL football. Can you guys believe this? I don't even know if it's really gonna come back. Until I see a football player on the field, I'm not even 100% sure that it's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to be able to control something like COVID amongst probably the most violent of all the American sports. Even more violent than MMA, I will say that. What's going to happen? Drafting is happening this week, really. This week and next week. I'll be honest with you guys. I had a nice thing for you guys to do for me if you guys can for the next week. If you guys can send me a list of football fantasy team names, that'd be greatly appreciated. Fantasy league teams names. Mine is pretty plain. Mine is WONDERGEDDON. Some people had some cooler names, like 100 Watts, for example. 100 TJ Watts. Somebody had some clever ones having to do with the Ravens. I can't even think any. But if you have any fantasy team names, then let me know. Let me know on social media platforms. We'll come up with a whole hashtag of them. The draft is coming next week, guys. We are going to quickly discuss strategies, not so much, but I will tell you how we're gonna do this. We have quarterbacks, we have running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. We have the defense, and we have kickers, a traditional fantasy league. Now, you have high picks, which is your first, maybe second round. I would say even up to the fourth round if you're in a 10-team league. You have mid picks, which is going to be probably between fifth pick maybe to about eighth or ninth, and then you're going to have the low picks or your pickups later on, which is going to be probably 11th pick and down. Draft strategies. Who would you pick? Who would I pick in my high picks, with my mid picks, and with my low picks? High picks, I try to keep them fairly obvious. Is who I'm going to draft. My mid picks are a little bit more. If you see them down here, then definitely take them before someone else does. And my low picks are people who I think are still going to be out there, who I don't think should be out there. So we're gonna start with my quarterback situation. If I have a high first round pick and I see Mahomes out there from Kansas City, then I'm gonna take him with my number one pick. No matter who's out there, probably gonna grab him with my number one pick at quarterback. My mid pick would be Kyler Murray from the Arizona Cardinals. I think he's gonna have a career year this year. Obviously, with the addition of oh my goodness, I can't remember, DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's going to have a super reliable receiver, catches everything that is thrown in his direction, and I think his number's going to skyrocket. I think also he has Christian Kirk, and he has Larry Fitzgerald, who hasn't aged since he's been in the NFL. I think he has Kenyon Drake as well at running back, which means he has he has a running back who can also catch the ball out of the backfield. He has an all-world receiver. He has a young, up-and-coming great receiver in Christian Kirk, and he has the wily veteran Larry Fitzgerald. If he's there with your fourth pick, then definitely pick him up. If someone who I think is going to be out there that you should pick up, I believe is going to have a good season, is going to be Cam Newton. I don't think Cam Newton is going to be drafted with the early, maybe 10 picks. I think he's going to be out there. If you see him available all the way down there, then definitely pick him up. I don't think you're going to go wrong with that pick. At wide receiver, if with my high pick, first running back I'm going to pick. Some people argued with me when we talked about this earlier in days past off screen with Saquon Barkley, and I think even Elliott from the Cowboys popped up. I am going to pick Christian McCaffrey, Panthers. Last year, 1,000 receiving yards, 1,000 rushing yards. He did everything. He is my workhorse. He is always involved in the play. There's no reason statistically to think that it is going to get lower, that the ceiling won't be just as high, if not even higher, in the next season. They got Teddy Bridgewater, who likes to throw short passes and sporadic passes all over the place. He might throw the ball 50 times this year, and McCaffrey's going to get a good chunk of those catches. My mid guy, I kind of brought him up a little bit when I was discussing Kyler Murray at quarterback. If I see Kenyon Drake with my mid picks, I'm definitely going to pick him up. Another Arizona Cardinal. As I said, I think he's good for 1,000 yards rushing this year. I think he's going to catch probably around 600 or 700. Maybe 600 more than 700. A really good year this year would be him catching 700 yards. My low pick, if you see Jordan Howard from where is he now? He's Miami. He's with the Miami Dolphins. If you see Jordan Howard out there with a low pick, I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. Um, Look out for him with one of the low picks. As I said, 7-11 down. Wide receiver. My high end receiver is going to be Matt Thomas, Mike Thomas from the Saints. He is Drew Brees' favorite target. He does not drop the ball when it gets passed to him. He is usually good for about 8 receptions and 100 yards a game. Can't go wrong with that. My mid pick, if I'm looking down in the fifth and I still see uh, Juju Smith-Schuster from the Pittsburgh Steelers, my team. If I see him down there in the mid picks, I'm definitely going to look out to picking him. Big Ben's coming back from injury. He looks like he's going to be fine, which means he's going to get a high volume of passes, short passes, long passes, dumps. He throws a lot of passes, and I think that Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be one of the beneficiaries of those passes. My low pick, I think it's going to be Brandon Cook. Brandon Cook is now playing for the Texans. Deshaun Watson just lost. He just lost his wide receiver, his favorite wide receiver. And I think that Brandon Cook is going to be in a situation where he's going to have a lot of catches to be thrown at him without having that number one guy over him. Meaning that he's not have to worry about too much competition in the wide receiver department. Not for Texas, not this year. Tight end. First round pick tight end would probably be Kittles from San Fran. Obviously, 1,000-yard receiver. Touchdowns. He catches a lot of touchdowns. That's all you really need for a tight end. Nobody cares how they block. Just catch the ball and score some touchdowns. Mid pick, I'm gonna go with T.J. Hawkinson from the Lions. I think that T.J. Hawkinson, although he had a subpar year last year, I think this is the second year. Couple injury bugs that he still has to get out of his system, but I think that with a nice little mid pick, he might be a good look at tight end. Low pick, I might look at Chris Herndon from the Jets. I think inside passes are going to be more of a thing for them. I think they're going to be another team that kind of gets a bunch of short passes down. A tight end is going to benefit from a system like that. I think this year is going to have a good year for who is their running back again? Look, Le'Veon Bell. But if Le'Veon Bell is not catching passes, then I think that those balls are going to slowly get away from Le'Veon, and those interior passes are going to start going to their tight end, Chris Herndon. Top pick, if defense, none. You do not take, listen to me, folks, look in my eyes. You do not take a defense with your first pick. You do not take a defense with your first 4 picks, okay? But if you're mid-pick and you're looking for a good defense, go with San Francisco. San Francisco was probably last year's the best defense in the NFL. I think with a mid-pick, maybe a 5th or 6th, you might want to look at him. You might want to look at them a little bit further down in the draft. Look for Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I don't think they're going to make it all the way down to the bottom that low, into the low picks, but I think when San Fran gets picked, it's going to usually lead to a ripple effect where a lot of people start grabbing the other defenses, the other quality defenses. Personally, I think Pittsburgh's going to have the best defense in fantasy football this year. That's my hot take, but you've seen how much of a homer I am when it comes to basketball. You could probably imagine how much it is when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. For kicker, first round kicker, none. You do not listen to me. Look at me. You do not draft a kicker in your first round either, your first 4 rounds. You do not. Sometimes you don't even draft a kicker. Sometimes you pick a kicker up as a free agent when the draft is over. But if you are going to pick up a kicker in the mid rounds, go to Kansas City and pick up Butner. He is usually the one that's scoring points when Mahomes isn't, and Mahomes is always scoring points. if you're getting a low pick and you want to pick up another one, Greg Zirin used to play for the Rams. He now plays for the Cowboys. I don't think a lot of people know that, so I think you could catch a great kicker like him earlier or later on in the draft without people noticing. All right. So that is my education part. So now you know now. I've given you guys some examples. If you disagree with anybody on my NFL list, feel free to let me know. Coach Wondergeddon is the Instagram Higher Movement showcases where the show broadcasts. You come back and you join my chat and you let me know while going if you don't agree with me. Let's talk about this like two civilized adults. Until then, guys, and that's going to have to happen next week because this show is just about over. We talked about NBA. Although we didn't talk about Messiah's press release, I've hashtagged it, that's my president. I am not an American citizen. I do not have a president. But I am a Raptor citizen, which means that Messiah is my president. And that will be my president going forward. If I was American, I think I'd say that's my president as well. And I'd hashtag it, and I will show everyone that press release. I think it's an important read to the point that I don't even want to talk about it this week. I want to make you guys read it, and you guys can tell me about it. As I said, this week, I'm not sure if they're going to play a game, Toronto versus Boston, but that series is coming whenever the rest of the playoffs is finished. They're going to start the second round. Hopefully, Kyle Lowry will be okay by then. MLB, I'm still 4-0, baby. Thanks to thanks to Ryan for calling today. We talked a little bit of baseball, and thanks to Cyrus for calling about the NBA. NFL, if you guys didn't take that draft strategy, at least take into consideration what I've looked at, then it's your fault if you lose to me, or if you lose to somebody else whose team resembles the amazing teams that I happen to always put up. As I said, the draft is next week, so when I draft my team, I'll show you guys all together. And if the NFL does happen, because I mean COVID is still out there, then it should be an interesting NFL season to be watched. That's the show for today, guys. Thanks for watching again. The Coach Wondergeddon podcast. As I said, as always, your Coach Wondergeddon. If you are watching next week, we're probably going to talk more NBA, obviously. We are going to talk a little bit more baseball if we can, and we're going to talk NFL football. Today is August 23rd. Happy birthday, Kobe. I should have said it in the beginning, and I'm sure I said it at least once. Happy birthday, Kobe. You are missed. Watching the playoffs it's a little bit surreal. You kind of forget that you're not out there no more. So, RIP Kobe. Happy birthday, and thanks for watching the show. Have a good night, guys.